when you speak to him.
The Vols are still dancing, and they are headed back to their fourth straight Sweet 16, hoping to make it to their third consecutive Elite Eight. Welcome to Torch Sports Sweet 16 Special. I'm your host, Lauren Gimpler, alongside Jack Glennon, Nick Rose, and Jordan Smitherman. Now, our team is currently in the Windy City, where Tennessee will face 2-seed Iowa State in the Sweet 16 later today. But first, let's take a look at what head coach Rick Barnes had to say about tonight's matchup.
Toughness, defense, well coached, terrific point guard play. I think they really, as a team, they're connected. They know who needs to be shooting it, when they need to be shooting it, and just play extremely well together. But really excellent defensive team, excellent.
A competitive matchup tonight for the Vols, but let's send it on over to our very own Alexi Cowan and Sophie Starkey. Guys, what are your thoughts on Barnes' comments regarding the Cyclones?
This is definitely going to be the Vols' toughest test yet, taking on that number 2 seed. But honestly, Tennessee's teams they've played so far in the tournament are all looking similar, with several sharpshooters, and their defense has been able to lock this down before.
And yes, Iowa State is tight-knit, but so are the Vols. Their slogan so far during this March Madness has been, let's go get 'em. And if the Vols can go get them and stay in that tight-knit togetherness, they can get anything done.
Yeah, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, ladies.
Yeah, Iowa State has a tremendous defense. First of all, 13th ranked scoring defense in the country, but they also have a plethora of weapons on offense. And you look at their main man, Milan Momcilovic, and he's shooting 49.3% from three. And you might ask, well, how many a game is he taking? 1, maybe 2? 8 threes per game and sinking 4 of them. So how does Tennessee beat this Iowa State team? Attack the paint and get fouled, because this Iowa State team against Kentucky in their last game, despite a big win, only had 5 bench points. So make sure you get Iowa State starters out of the game, get them tired, attack the basket, get fouled, get to the free throw line.
Absolutely, Jack. And I want to also go off on that. Joshua Joseph, he is questionable game time decision right now, second team All-American. The guy who replaced him, Nate Heisey, 6th-year senior guard for the Cyclones. He had 22 points against Tennessee State, in the first round, and 12 points against Kentucky. He had 3, 2, and 0 in the Big 12 tournament. So they're going to need either him to step up or Joshua Jefferson to be that guy for them. It just depends on what that lineup looks like come game time.
And you look at their offense is also very well-rounded. You have multiple guys who can contribute on both sides. And if you look at their three-point shooting versus their two-point shooting, they don't really have a liability and they don't have a lack. So Tennessee is really going to have to turn on their defensive motor to stop this Iowa State team.
Yeah, this is not a team, Iowa State, that has a hole that you can exploit. This is a team that's very well-rounded, like Coach Barnes said.
Yeah, and to take a better look at this, we're going to send it over to the board with Charlie. Charlie, what are you seeing from the Cyclones that stands out to you?
Yeah, well, thanks, Lauren. This is Tennessee Volunteers in the Sweet 16. Very complete, high-powered offense, Iowa State Cyclones team. Now, going to go ahead and take a look at what makes them so special here. Tim and Lipsy, top of the key. Similar play that Tennessee runs with Felix Okpara. Momcilovic is going to come over. Buchanan's going to come and set the screen. It's going to free up Momcilovic, and he's going to fire it in for the three-pointer. This team shoots almost 39% from three compared to Tennessee's 35%. Coming up here, next play, Momcilovic got an ISO one-on-one, a lot of space to work with. Going to get it over the defender, miss it. Who's going to get the rebound? Ball is still loose. It's going to end up right back in Momcilovic's hands. Now, he could dish this right to Buchanan for the free throw, but he decides to take it himself for the three-pointer. This is going to be a very tough test for the Tennessee Volunteers. Defense is going to need to use that interior presence in order to win this one. Now, we're going to send it over up north to Chicago, Illinois, where our very own Alexi and Sophie, guys, you guys were there last weekend where the Vols had a very good defensive showing. How does Tennessee look to combat this high-powered Iowa State offense?
You know, the Cyclones may have great shooters, but Tennessee has an outstanding defense to combat that. In their first two games, Miami, Ohio, they out-rebounded this team by 17 points, and they had great rim protection against Virginia with 6 blocks. What travels in March? It's defense and rebounding. Tennessee being able to get it done, not letting these sharpshooters settle. They need to have that again tonight to stop this amazing offense.
Absolutely, and Tennessee learned quickly in this tournament that they would have to guard the three-point line. Can't leave anybody alone. They learned that very quickly against Virginia when number 6 Ja'Cory White had 3 back-to-back threes. But here's the thing with Tennessee's defense. Not only do you have to worry about the tall guys, you got to worry about the fast ones too. Like Bishop Boswell and Amari Evans, they're not going to leave you alone, and they're going to make you very uncomfortable in your own skin when you've got the ball in your hands.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Now, Tennessee's defense will definitely be a key for tonight's matchup, but two big factors to the Vols' first 2 wins of the tournament were Jacoby Gillespie and Bishop Boswell. Tennessee will be looking for another stellar performance from the duo tonight.
Absolutely, Lauren. Look, Gillespie has no doubt been the star of the team so far this year. First in minutes, first in field goals made, three-pointers made, points, assists, and steals. But Bishop Boswell has also been right up there for best player on this team, especially in March. He had 13 points against Virginia on 4 three-pointers. Both are technically career highs for him. 9 assists, a career high as well. Miami of Ohio only played 18 minutes, had 5 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and a three-pointer as well. He's been the fuel to this Jacoby Gillespie engine that this team has been running on. They're going to need him to step up, and he's doing all this while playing fantastic defense.
Yeah, Nick, I couldn't agree more. Bishop Boswell, not only does it make the offense less predictable, but it also opens up the floor for a Nate Ament who's been struggling the last couple games as he continues to recover from that injury. Jacoby Gillespie, what I need to see from you, distribute, distribute, distribute. Be the true point guard. You are a point guard. You are not a shooting guard. 7.5 assists per game in this tournament compared to 5.5 a game in the regular season. I believe that's why this offense is running so smoothly despite Nate Ament's struggles. And Bishop Boswell, hit your open shots like you did against Virginia. It opens up the floor for Ament. It opens up the floor for Gillespie. It makes everybody's job easier. And like Gillespie said in the postgame against Virginia, he said when Bishop Boswell is playing like this, it makes us a completely different team, and it makes us very, very difficult to beat. Now, the problem for the Vols the last 2 years, for me at least, been way too reliant on 2, maybe 1 guy to score the ball. You think Dalton Knecht, you think Chaz Lanier. You need to have these guys to spread the floor, and I think that's what Bishop Boswell can do for this Tennessee team.
I agree with everything you said, Jack. And with Gillespie, you can say whatever you want about him, the late game turnovers, he's not a true point guard, but he is the floor general for this team. You look at all these stats, he is making new ground for himself. First ever SEC player with 2 8-steal outings in league play, and first player in the SEC, second in last 30 years to have a 29-point, 9 assists, 3 steals in the NCAA tournament. So he's definitely stepped up when they've needed him most. And Tennessee, quite frankly, would not be here without the play of Jacoby Gillespie.
For sure, Gillespie and Boswell, two keys to tonight's matchup. But Charlie, what have you been seeing out of this duo?
Yeah, well, we talk a lot about, Lauren, we talk a lot about the big men on this Tennessee offense, whether it's Jalen Carey, J.P. Estrella, but we do not talk about Bishop Boswell and Jacoby Gillespie. They run the offense here. Watch. Boswell is with the ball. He's going to dish it, going to get in a trap from Gillespie, and he's going to give it right back to Boswell. And look at this screen from Estrella. That's going to free up Ament. Ament scores it for the three, but those two guards set up this play. Here next, Gillespie's going to throw it way over to the corner to Boswell. Boswell, fake it, spin move, and now look, he is in the paint trap. He could go up with it, but he's only a guard. So he's going to find it and dish it over to Jacoby Gillespie for the three-pointer. Both these two really make this Tennessee Volunteers offense. Now, one more time, we're going to send it over to Chicago, Illinois for Alexi and Sophie. Guys, what do you got for us?
Another duo you could not go without mentioning is the big guys in the front court, J.P. Estrella and Felix Okpara. J.P. Estrella is a different beast during March Madness. In the first game against Miami, Ohio, he had 14 points and led the team with 10 rebounds, a double-double for him there. And then against Virginia, he had some key moments in the final 5 minutes of that game, tying the score back up for the Vols, having a key pair of free throws in there as well. So when J.P. is playing his best ball, I think that is a huge beneficial factor for the Vols front court.
Absolutely. And Felix Okpara, he doesn't talk much, but actions speak louder than words, and he's got the actions. He's a dog on both sides of the ball. Not only can he rebound, not only can he block, he can score. Against Virginia, he had 2 back-to-back dunks, and that was the complete momentum shift for Tennessee against Virginia. If you have a Felix Okpara like that tonight, you will be set in stone.
You know, they say stars are born in March. I think we're witnessing 2 of these big guys.
And 2 seniors that do not want to go home.
Absolutely.
Oh, no, JP's staying. He's staying. But
Don't
Felix.
worry. We got him another year. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, guys. And hey, who would have thought? Alexi bragging on Felix Okpara. I mean,
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, Alexi and I had a debate about Cade Phillips versus Felix Okpara. I hope that's solved by now.
well, it is definitely going to be a competitive matchup for the Vols tonight, and we have a lot more to talk about when we come back after the commercial break. Stay with us.
Why is just a starting line, for the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick, below the surface. Our reason why is united, undivided, seeking understanding. My why is diversity and unity, a safe space in my community. It's a million faces in a mirror, and everyone belongs. Find your why for a better us.
Imagine a disease that affects more than 10 million Americans, yet few know its name. I'm talking about lymphedema, LE. Many people, like my mom, get it as a result of cancer treatment and afterwards face a lifetime of swelling and pain. The cruel irony is many times its severity can be lessened only if you learn about it and act in advance. If you're at risk, ask your doctor about lymphedema. Take this as your chance to learn and live.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. And now is our time. Time for unbeatable experiences, for bold innovation, for historic moments. It's time to do what Vols do best. More life-changing research, more problem solving, more lighting the way. We have what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
Welcome back. Now the Vols face off tonight in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament against the Iowa State Cyclones. And this is Tennessee's 28th March Madness appearance, and over the years, there have been some pretty memorable moments for Vol fans. One of which came in 2008 when Chris Lofton went through his NCAA tournament all while dealing with testicular cancer. Alexi and Sophie, bring us back to 2008.
You gotta start out mentioning one of Tennessee's all-time shooters in Chris Lofton. In that 2008 run that you mentioned there, Lauren, that team made it to the Sweet 16, and Lofton went off. He had 13 threes, almost 70 points. Now he's getting to watch from a different vantage point, doing play-by-play with the Vol Network for Mike Heath. But March Madness is not just about the resilience on the court, it's off the court as well.
Absolutely. Little did Chris Lofton know that after that Sweet 16 game, he would be getting some of the worst news of his life. Right after that game, the men's basketball trainer, Chad Newman, that we talked to a little while ago, he had to go tell Chris Lofton that he failed a drug test right after that game. But little did they know, the failed drug test was because that they had found out that Chris Lofton had testicular cancer, and he had to go through all of that treatment at 20 years old. And now look at the success story that he is now calling play-by-play. He is a true VFL.
Absolutely. What a full circle moment, him getting to go back to the Sweet 16 today with the Vols. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, guys, and what an inspiring story and a great moment for the Vols in the tournament.
Another great player that Vol fans have great memories about, Dalton Knecht, one of the most electric players and shooters that University of Tennessee sports has ever had. He got better through each game, and he carried the team through the tournament. St. Peter's 23 points, Texas 18 points, Creighton 26 points in the infamous Purdue game, the Dalton Knecht versus Zach Edey battle. He had 37 points with only 3 turnovers, and he definitely etched his name into the Tennessee history books, and hopefully the Vols can have another performance like that against Iowa State.
Yeah, Jordan, I want to take it to a slightly different approach on this. I want to go a game, not a specific player. I want to go Tennessee versus Kentucky 2025. First all-time matchup in the NCAA tournament, and the Tennessee came into this game 0-2 on the season versus the Wildcats, and they just dominated this one. They controlled the rebounds 34-24 with 14 offensive rebounds, 9 of which in the first half. Zakai Ziegler had 18 points and 10 assists. Perfect game, no double-double there. Felix Akbara, 8 points, 11 rebounds, 7 of which were offensive rebounds, 17 from Chaz Lanier, 16 from Jordan Gainey off the bench, and Jemai Machak had 5 steals. Just an all-around great game. Held Kentucky 20 points under their season average.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's so crazy to think that that was the first March Madness matchup between those two teams. I mean, that is like the Yankees-Red Sox of SEC basketball. Maybe not so much football, but definitely basketball. Can I just say how much I miss Chaz Lanier in a Tennessee uniform? I mean, this guy, the entire NCAA tournament last season, I talked about it a little bit earlier about how the Tennessee teams in the last 2 years have relied so much on one guy. Well, last year that guy was Chaz Lanier. 29 points versus Wofford, 5 rebounds, 2 steals on just 22 shot attempts, 6 of 13 from 3 against UCLA. You see this play right here? He was so good at coming off those screens. 20 points on 6 of 14 and 4 of 5 from beyond the arc. Also contributed 4 rebounds, and then 17 and 17 against Kentucky and against Houston. Now that Houston loss, he scored 17 of the team's 50. That is my point with this Chaz Lanier, Dalton Knecht narrative, where Tennessee needs to have those options, and that's why Bishop Boswell, like we said, is going to be so key. But he was the only consistent scorer on that Tennessee team last season, except for Jordan Gainey, who came off the bench, and that really kept an otherwise anemic offensive flow.
So many great games and great players and so much history with this Tennessee team in the tournament. But another history maker for this team in this tournament could be star freshman Nate Ament. But he has been a little inconsistent in his last few games after he suffered a foot injury against Alabama in late February. Now, our Luca Tal and Alexi Cowan were at the game when Ament went down. Guys, what have you been seeing out of the freshman?
Absolutely. I mean, Nate Ament, he's an impact player for the Vols, but he's been battling those after effects from his injury at the February 28th game against Alabama, that lower leg injury. Now, we were both there at that game, but Luke, you were on the floor. You had a great view. He was right next to you when he fell. What happened?
Was an Alabama player, rolled over onto his left leg, and he went down wincing in pain, and it had to get walked off the court into the locker room. Now, he came back in the second half for a little bit of playing time because he wants to be back out there on the court playing with his guys, but then they quickly took him back off for safety concerns and safety reasons.
And, this has seemed to be a recurring trend for Nate Ament as he tries to heal And he is dying to play. He's told us after March Madness in the locker room, he is dying to get out there. But the process to get back to where he was, that's going to take some time.
It will take some time, and it's been kind of a snowball effect that we've seen in the NCAA tournament so far. Here, the first round, 0 points against Miami of Ohio, but then a sweet 16 points against Virginia in the last round of the tournament. And right now, fans are excited to see what Nate Ament they're going to see in this game tonight against the Iowa State Cyclones. And guys at the desk, they're going to need his prime skill set.
Yeah, Nate Ament, we've seen him evolve over the course of this season, specifically in SEC play. Offensively, he's been super dynamic. But I want to take a look at the defensive side of the ball for Nate Ament. This is a guy who's 6'10", 7'1" wingspan, and has a 9-foot standing reach. He's a matchup nightmare if you're the other team trying to game plan on how you can score on him, because he can guard the 2 to 4 effortlessly. He averages 1 steal and 0.6 blocks per game. But since the postseason started, this is after that injury against Alabama, he's had 1 steal and 3 blocks versus Auburn, 2 steals versus Vanderbilt, a block versus Miami of Ohio where he only played 1 half in 18 minutes, and then 1 steal and 1 block versus Virginia. This is after his injury, and he's still moving around like that and able to disrupt the opposing team's offense. It's just super impressive what he's been able to do this year.
Yeah, I mean, Nate Ament, obviously, when he's healthy, is without a doubt the best player on this team. And he moves around so well for a guy who's 6'10". And like you said, any opposing small forward trying to guard a 6'10" dude, when they're also throwing out JP Estrella and Felix Okpara, I mean, that really stretches defenses apart, especially when your small forward at 6'10" can shoot the ball. And that high release point is so similar to Kevin Durant. But what I want to see from Nate Ament is get to the basket. I know that the threes have been kind of inconsistent this year, 32.8% from outside the arc. The efficiency hasn't really been there from inside the arc either, 43%, but where it has been there is the free throw line, shooting almost 80% from the free throw line, pardon me. And like I said, Tennessee needs to get to the cup. Tennessee needs to get fouled and knock these Iowa State starters out of the game. And in a team that hasn't really shot the free throw ball well this year, Nate Ament has been one of the bright spots. I think if he can get to the free throw line, it will slow down the game, also give him a couple more breaks to kind of get those intermediate breaks when he's trying to recover from that injury during the game. But I think Nate Ament can be huge if he takes the right shots.
Absolutely, Jack. I mean, he is the free throw made leader on this team. He has made the most free throws. And that was not at the beginning of the season because he refused to attack the basket, as you said. Like, he has been so good recently at just attacking the basket, and he's been rewarded by going to the free throw line. And he, as you said, he's been proving it 80% from the stripe. It's just been so fun to watch this young man play.
Nate Ament is just a go-getter, a bucket getter, all of the above. He can shoot from the 3, from the 2, from the free throw line, like you said, and we've seen him grow up before our very eyes this season. And as he's getting better, it's unfortunate that he gets hurt right as he's playing his best ball. But you look at these stats up here: 6 SEC games in which he scored 20-plus points, and then only 6 games where he hasn't scored in double digits at all. The Miami game where he had 0 points was really just an oddity, but he had 16 points versus Virginia, 27 versus Auburn to lift them in the SEC tournament. And that's even though he is not being as much of a factor. Boswell playing well, and like the other players, opens it up for him to not be the only star, not to drive to the basket every time. Like you all have said, it opens up everything else for Ament when everyone else is doing well.
Yeah, I mean, Nate Ament after the game against Virginia said, I don't have to score every point for us to win the game, and that's a nice feeling. But I want to ask you guys, because I wrote about this the other day in an article, and I received a lot of flack for it on social media. If Nate Ament is not fully healthy, is it better for Tennessee to have Amari Evans start in that spot? Because you saw what he did against Vanderbilt, 24 points on good efficiency. If Nate Ament's not fully healthy and he is more of a liability than he is a strength, is it better for Tennessee to have someone healthy in that spot?
No, I still think Nate Ament's diversity in his build and where he plays in this Tennessee lineup really helps the Vols more than hurts it. I mean, as you said, he's the bridge between the guards in Gillespie and Boswell, and then the bigs in Estrella and Okpara. He's the guy in the middle there, and he's a perfect guy for that, even if he's not at 100%.
Yep, well, Ament will definitely be one to watch tonight, as his availability could play a large role in tonight's results, hoping to get Tennessee into the Elite Eight for the 3rd straight year. But now we're just about out of time at the desk. But before we wrap up this week's Sweet 16 special, our very own Sophie Starkey had the chance to speak with some of the Tennessee basketball moms and learn about the importance of the support system that they provide. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Before the bright lights of March Madness, there were early mornings, long drives, and one constant through it all: Mom.
I think at 5 years old, he told me he was going to be 7 foot tall and play D1 basketball at 5. And I'm like, honey, probably not going to happen. Dad's 6'2", Mom's 6'4". My mother-in-law is 5 foot. I'm like, I don't think, and I think he's willed himself into being a 7-foot D1 basketball player.
Long before the packed arenas, these moms saw it first. From their first AAU tournament all the way through high school, they believed their sons were capable of something special.
When he went into middle school for his orientation, he looked around the gym and he said, I'm going to put some banners up in here. And he did. He put 2 banners in there. When he went to Myers Park High School, his junior year, he transferred schools, and he said, I want to win a state championship for these seniors. And he did. I always tell Bishop, like, 5th grade Bishop would be geeking out right now at what sophomore Bishop's about to do in college.
But the journey to Division I basketball isn't just about the players. These moms have formed a team of their own.
We meet for dinner, we meet for different activities and just get to talk, because being a D1 mom, everybody dreams of and thinks it's going to be great, but it's very stressful, and it brings a lot of emotion because you want your child to do so well, because sometimes people say things and on social media, and they don't realize what they're going through on a day-to-day. So it is great to have a group of moms that are all going through the same thing at the same time.
A D1 mom is a different breed. I mean, a sports mom's a different breed, and then a D1 mom is a different breed.
This group has become more than just parents in the stands. They've become a support system, a group that understands the sacrifices, the stress, and the joy of watching their sons chase a dream.
I think it breaks our heart more than it breaks their heart when something doesn't go their way, because you know how bad they want it, and then you got to listen to all the people they just don't understand how hard they work.
You know, we all sit in the same section. You know, we all hang out, which is, it's nice to have your boys be all close and feel tight like family. And of course we love all the boys, but it's also nice to have those families around you, and you don't have that everywhere.
And even now, on the biggest stage in college basketball, they're still just mom, making sure their sons get a message before each game.
I send him a text to every game, and it always just ends with good luck. I try not to say a lot like, hey, you need to do this. He's getting that from his coach. I just try to be a mom and just send him just good luck, love you, praying for you, hope you do well.
I either send him an inspirational quote. I think today was short and sweet. I just said, leave it all on the floor, dominate the paint, next play mentality, and keep that team, be a connector, keep that team connected. And I love you. And I always get, I love you too, Mom.
And I just told him, you got this, you're ready. It's your time. I mean, you're going to shine. It's the time. And you got to leave it all out there.
For these moms, March Madness isn't just about winning. It's about watching a dream they've helped build come true. Reporting from Philadelphia, Sophie Starkey, TVC.
Such a beautiful story from our very own Sophie Starkey. And for those Tennessee players, they have their biggest matchup of the season tonight against 2-seed Iowa State. It's survive and advance or lose and go home. But that is all that we have from the studio. For one last time, we're going to send it out to our team in Chicago, Alexi and Sophie.
Yeah, it's going to be a late one tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern time when the Vols kick off against that number 2 seed, like you said, Lauren. Hopefully we can stay awake for this one, Alexi.
I hope the Tennessee team can stay awake for this one. I mean, they should have slept in today. I hope so.
We just saw JP Estrella as well. He seemed fired up. He tried to get in our shot. And
Classic JP.
Of course.
Classic.
But hopefully they can do everything we have said today. Dominate the boards, that offensive shooting. We have so many guys that can make a difference. But overall, over the past 2 weeks, we've said it. This is the most well-rounded Tennessee team we think we have seen yet. So if this is the team to do it, it might happen.
Absolutely. And use that momentum and take it and go all the way. That's what you got to do when you start getting in these 16s, the 8s. Let's make a 4.
Absolutely.
But that's all that we've got for you guys today. Now, you've got to stick with us and stay up and follow along on social media. Me, Sophie, and Luke will all be there. We will be giving you every single detail of game coverage on the Instagram at Torch Sports UTK and TVC News Now. And if you want live score updates, head over to Twitter, or X if you like to call it, at Torch Sports _UTK. We will keep you posted no matter how late we have to stay up.
Absolutely. That's all for us here in Chicago.
Why is just a starting line, for the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick, below the surface. Our reason why is united, undivided, seeking understanding. My why is diversity and unity, a safe space in my community. It's a million faces in a mirror, and everyone belongs. Find your why for a better us.
Imagine a disease that affects more than 10 million Americans, yet few know its name. I'm talking about lymphedema, LE. Many people, like my mom, get it as a result of cancer treatment and afterwards face a lifetime of swelling and pain. The cruel irony is many times its severity can be lessened only if you learn about it and act in advance. If you're at risk, ask your doctor about lymphedema. Take this as your chance to learn and live.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. And now is our time. Time for unbeatable experiences, for bold innovation, for historic moments. It's time to do what Vols do best. More life-changing research, more problem solving, more lighting the way. We have what it takes. It takes a volunteer.